All right.
another
Thank
11.
you, Adam. So this is the best kind of event because we have an amazing group here, and we didn't have to announce them being here because you guys sold out the event without that, and this is just so fun. Thank you guys for being here. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, truly.
So I wrote a million notes the first 3 times I watched it, then I watched it again tonight. I have to say a stupid thing around here all the time. Like a director making a film, the audience should be walking away from the film knowing more about the director. This film, I feel like we know you very, very well after walking away from it. How much of you is in this movie?
A lot.
A lot, yeah.
It was scary.
Are you more AJ? Are you more Moose? What is it, a mix?
I'm more AJ.
Okay,
more
all
AJ.
right. And you grew up in the city
in Nebraska
you shot.
City, where we filmed everything. Like 98% of the movie was there, and there was a little slice in Omaha for a day, 2 days, where we did the OTB, the off-track betting parlor at the beginning. That was it.
Incredible. Set in 1991. I saw Terminator 2 on the marquee.
What's that?
I saw Terminator 2 on the marquee.
You
in
did.
the movie,
You
yes.
did see Terminator.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there was Terminator 2, Problem Child 2, and Naked Gun. What is it? 22 and a half or what?
Amazing. Bobby, can we get them the 2 mics that are back here? You guys should get your own wired mics, but I think we really could just. I'm going to ping pong back and forth with the audience. I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions, but I really just
You're just here for the fuck dogs. You're just here for the fuck dogs. I see you saying, I'm just here for the fuck dogs. All right. Somebody get her a fuck dog.
Yeah, I don't want to go to Chris Farley's show on this, but I really feel like you guys shot this on location. Please tell me it's exactly what we all want it to be. Was it just summer camp making this incredible movie?
We were just talking about that.
We could just talk about this the entire time. I think everyone wants to just hear about the experience of making this movie. I know that's not really a question, but I would just love to hear some highlights from the shoot. And it just looked like a blast. And it'd be funny if you were like, no, it actually sucked. we had a horrible time. But yeah, I just would like to hear you guys talk about that. Because the 3 of you are incredible in this film.
I checked the mic. Hi, guys. Thank you. Thank you guys all for coming. This was so fun. And seeing movies in theaters is awesome. But yeah, it was that. The town, it was so small, and our hotel was what, like a 5-minute walk from the pool?
Oh,
so
less.
The entire summer, they would say that's a wrap on the day, and then we'd all jump in the pool.
You finish like a 15-hour day and then go off a high dive.
It was the same. We would just the same thing on and off camera.
It was also like we just all hung out with each other, like everyone at the pool, and so it very much was just this. I don't know.
It was actually trippy to see it so like now. All the BG and all the extras at the pool were the same people that lived in Nebraska City and were there on Saturday. So like,
and they didn't close the pool for production. Like we're shooting on a regular day of everybody going to the pool.
It was like a highlight reel of the summer. I was like, oh, I remember that kid. I was like, oh, that's the basketball jump kid. I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the kid that got kicked out for throwing something at a 4-year-old. I remember that kid.
That's a lot of drama, yeah.
Were there any North Star movies that did you have them watch any of the films that they were made 20 years before they were born, essentially?
I did more like a music reference for them. I made a big jumbo mixtape of the whole, like a 3-hour mixtape. Yeah. So they all got the mixtape prior to listen to. So.
And how close was that mixtape to the?
It's really close.
Oh,
There's most of the songs that I picked. There's a couple heavy hitters in the crowd here. My editor Justin Crone, like stand up. Let's like scream at you for a second. Yeah, Francesca. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to bust your bubble. Francesca, my production designer. Woo! She's a genius too, just like Justin. We got Nick Smith, one of the producers here. Nick somewhere. He's waving. Right? And most importantly, we have Charles Cohen, who has the infamous Iowa Has Bad Corn hat. He's here as Duff Warfield in character. I hear he's driving home as Duff Warfield.
Produced the movie. He doesn't have a credit on the credits for some reason about that, but he did, and he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Shout out producers.
No, this was the best summer of my adult life. I was just saying that, because my kids are there. My kids are the fuck dog kids. That's 2 of them.
Amazing.
The little one that says "Give me a Butterfinger, dickheads." The other one.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just hanging with these guys. We just swam every night. It was like literally what it feels like there was the feeling, like, for the most part. For the most part. They saw me stressed a few times, because every week we had, it's a 6-week shoot, and there was one really tough day. It was a very ambitious 6-week shoot, too. But what was great about it was that once we were in Nebraska City, where the bulk of everything took place, it was like, everything was in a couple-mile radius. We weren't traveling far each day. So that's kind of what saved us a little bit. But shooting in the town, recreating 91, it was not hard. Like Francesca, as soon as we got there, she went to the Chamber of Commerce and the public library, and she was looking through she was going to like late 80s, early 90s, looking at all the reference photos for everything. And we've done some side-by-side comparisons, and it's really close, like to the era. Like, I'm really proud of what we achieved there.
Were they stoked to have you guys? I mean, I always hear mixed stuff about.
They were so thrilled to
That's
have
the
us,
best.
and they just it was like a really pleasant way to shoot something, because there was so many people from my past, the teachers, and
This is where Adam grew up. Like, that is the pool. That is the snack
Like,
shack.
somebody checked me out at CVS and was like, "Oh, you're playing little REHMEIER," and I was like, "Yeah, I am." Like,
well, he was
Very
quite
in-house.
a squirrely little lad.
Yeah.
He got in quite a bit of trouble.
There's a shot of the house that Adam grew up in the movie. Across the house across from AJ is the house Adam grew up in.
Yeah.
These are all, everything that happened to Adam is real. Moose is based off of his best friend Booba, and Shane was a real friend, and incredibly truthful. Everything that happened to him and what he meant to the boys, and there were just so many photos and so many archives of these two fucking lunatics hanging out, and they really brewed their own beer, and they were really best friends. And so knowing that, and you read the script, and regardless, like, it's just so rich, and it's you can just really feel the lives of every single character, and to know that it's that it really comes from a real place, and that it's not just some like hangout movie, that it's real. It made it feel really important for us to be there, and that's why it felt so familial when we were all there as well, because it is just truth from Adam.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gambling movie. It's a making beer movie. It's a summer movie. It's a coming of age movie. They truly don't make them like that anymore. So you guys are. I don't want to say you're spoiled, but man, I'm so jealous. What an incredible experience. Let's go to the audience real quick. I'm sure you guys have a bunch of questions. Anybody have a specific question for these guys? Yes, I'm going to bring the mic to you because we are recording this.
What were your favorite scenes to film?
Ooh. Do you have one?
And I do want to hear about that tough day, by the way.
Man, the night swim scene was really, really, really fun. Fun fact: the belly flop was real, and
no stunt
she
double.
did it twice.
No, she did it like five
No,
fucking times. She didn't do it twice. Adam was like, do it again.
No, and she was really, really confident. April, the girl who plays Leah, she was very, very confident about it, and she did it, and her whole body was just like destroyed, like red, like shining red, bruised for days. It was awful, but she was a trooper, and it was really fun. That was the first shoot. That was the first shoot. That was a little like, it was cold and it was like dark, and we were tired, but I mean, we were just swimming, and Adam was in the pool with us. He shot it.
A lot of underwater stuff in that scene.
Yeah, my cinematographer, he was like 5'6", 5'7". He said, I feel more comfortable with the monitor. He went and did the monitor.
Any favorite scenes from you guys?
I think the scene of the bank is just really fun, and because it was the hair, I remember, was kind of. I really wanted to grease his hair back, like from Wall Street, but we didn't. The worry was that we would even have enough time, because we have a lot of things to shoot that day of if I'm going to be able to like clean my hair out and get back to the curly by the end of the day. And Adam's like, I just don't think we have it on the schedule. I'm like, please just give this to me. Like, please just give this to me. And we did it. And so every time I see that scene, I'm just like, yes, I got it. But honestly, like, every day was just blast, absolute just so much fun. It's hard to say one scene
Sure,
in
yeah.
particular.
I mean, for me, like the shooting the stuff with like the real beer, having the real tubs, having it under the waterbed that my best friend, that where we actually put it, where it was stored, like being at the OTB, like even though it wasn't the exact one that we had at the time, recreating these things and having these two go through the motions of like me and my best friend, it was really trippy to watch.
Let's talk about that, because it must be surreal casting those two roles in specific.
Yeah.
So what about these two?
For me, it had to be like something that you can easily look at and understand both of them in a single frame, like not unlike, let's say, Superbad or something,
Sure.
where you've got, Michael Cera and Jonah Hill, and you understand the relationship between them right away. So it's an X factor thing that you're looking for as a director, like two that are going to work well together. So it was just seeing them together, physically having them in the same room at our audition, seeing them interact with Mika. Like, yeah, it was just a intuitive process with
And
it.
work together well, they did, absolutely. Any favorite lines? There was one that made me laugh the 5th time I've seen it. You say in the pool, I think it's like, why are you, something about sulking in the 5-foot shit pig. It's like this, like,
Sad sacking.
why are you sad sacking in the 5-foot shit pig? I would need 50 takes of that. So like, there's just no way. Be like, give me 10 more. I'll get it. Any favorite lines?
So many of the lines. Wait, I was distracted because I was going to say something about sad sacking in the 5-foot. It really was the 5-foot, and I had to be crouched down, like, to keep the water at the level of my shoulders. And one of the takes, I don't know. I guess I didn't know they could see below the water, through the water. So I had my legs like this, and I was like, just to get like the right level, and I was like doing this scene, and Adam was in the water shooting, and he's like, dude, we can see your legs. And I was like, oh shit. And I was literally like, just like, I don't even know. Anyway, so that's my favorite line. That's not the question. But yeah, all the lines. I love a lot of Moose's lines. There's so many that I feel like if I say now will be weird because I'm not.
What's the line? They go home in a body bag. What is it? About the other betters.
Crowd's got wood for easy does it.
Yeah, the crowd goes home in a fucking body bag. I love that line.
There are some really good ones. Moose, you just wrote a storm for that guy. I mean, when I first heard of this script, my agents wanted me to audition for AJ. They set up a meeting for Adam to talk about him, and I read the script, and 5 pages in, I was like, no way. And it was amazing talking to Adam.
We got on the horn, and you were like immediately like, my agents they wanted me to read for AJ, but I really like Moose. And I had already been really focused on Connor for AJ. Like I had seen his audition tape, which I guess he had fucking COVID, and it was a really
COVID Connor.
weird tape when
don't
he
start
did
that.
it, but I
Connor?
liked him for it. Then I was disappointed when he came and he was 100% because he
Yeah.
was like 50 in the
I
audition.
was trying to sidestep. I didn't want to, because a lot of the Dinner America talk we had and stuff was about like making a movie during COVID and stuff. So we'll sidestep that this
But
time.
I do think it helped because I really did have COVID, and I was actually very sick, and I was isolated in a hotel room. But the scene that my audition was the allergy scene. So I was like, I really did like, I was like, all right, I'll lean into this.
It worked.
But yeah.
He gave his reader COVID.
Yep. No, my reader was a fellow friend that was isolating with COVID also. Yeah, it was just a nasty hotel room. Sorry.
Adam's like, this is my sad sack. He's perfect. All right, anybody else? One more question? No. Okay. Bringing you the microphone. Long arms.
Iowa has bad corn.
Obviously you guys are like playing characters that were like quite a bit younger. So I just wanted to ask, is there like any way you tapped into that mentality, like a 14-year-old?
Yeah, I think a big part of what we got to do on this movie, and I know Adam did on Dinner in America also, is Gabe and I went out to Nebraska City 2 weeks early and literally got to be like the equivalent of 15-year-olds, like running around. We were just hanging out with each other. We worked at the real pool. We're selling like real hot dogs.
They didn't
Still
pay us.
there, the same pool, same everything. So I think that really helped because we really were. Also, there's not that much stuff to do in Nebraska City, so we were like naturally bored. So then all of a sudden we're like, let's go throw rocks, and felt like they did in the 90s.
There were a couple local girls that were like, "Hey, let us show you around town," and Connor and I are in the back seat, and they're just driving, and both of them are on their phones, and we're like, "So what do you like? What's there to do in this town?" And they're like, "Other than drive around?" Like, yeah. She's like, I mean, we go to Walmart. That's the town.
Yeah, also like being in the hotel was very much like being in high school. Like you'd come out of your room and you'd run into like 12 people that you know and are seeing every day, and it was just like very communal and weird, and like, yeah, there wasn't a ton to do in the town, so it was a lot of like, let's walk around, let's go walk to the pool and go down the
Everything
slide.
to do in the town you saw in the movie.
Yeah, like literally.
Yeah.
You know what's there. It's a lot of fun, but
But in terms of the acting, one thing I noticed is that like, it's a movie of firsts, so everything's just so excited. So you're so enthusiastic to be sitting with your buddy. You're so enthusiastic to be rebelling and drinking beer and gambling, and everything's so new and shiny, and it's just like, like it's you're just so hyped up. And it's a difference between like an 8th grader and a 12th grader. They're like, yeah, I've done that. And but then so that was a key factor for Moose. But then also like hair removal was significant. I had to shave 3 times a day. My skin was just raw.
I shaved bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Connor,
Connor.
one time, Connor nared his chest for the underwater scene. But you get mic'd up every day, so he has like tape. There's like, a little bit of skin that's a little more sensitive. And
30 days, a piece of tape being pulled
being
off.
ripped off his skin, and he nares his whole chest, and it was like a chemical burn. Like it was bad.
He had a rectangular chemical burn that was just sudding
Like
out
the
of his
night
chest.
before. The night before, I'm only shirtless once in this movie. And it was the night before. Intentionally. It was a character choice.
Adam, do you happen to know how far into the movie the title drops?
I think it's 15 minutes
Yeah,
now.
it's
15,
like,
Jay?
it's like 17 or something
17?
like that. Are you gonna try
Yeah.
and beat that?
No, it was
Well-
just, it was something that we had discussed, and is it scripted in there, Jay? Is it scripted or not? What?
Yes, it is. It was in
Scripted,
bold
yeah,
in the
it-
script because
it
I had
was
never read
scripted
that
that
before.
way.
I love
was
it. I
scripted.
mean, I just love
Yeah.
a bold title drop. I was just like,
Yeah.
is there gonna be 17 minutes in?
Yeah.
Snack Shack, hell yeah, we're rocking. Any questions? Anybody? All the way in the back. Thank you for this. Happy birthday.
Hi, yes.
back.
I was just wondering what the story is behind making out to Combat Shock.
Well, you got to pick something, and how much better than to plug a buddy's film, Buddy Giovinazzo. I wanted to give that a plug, and just thought it was really funny. I mean, what are the chances you're gonna find a girl that wants to make out to Combat Shock? She's a keeper. You put a ring on that one.
So just pay her.
Ask her day rate. What? That sounded. Never mind. What?
We'll edit it out.
We'll get residuals, buddy. What residuals?
In terms of making the movie, I mean, you have gambling, you have teenagers gambling, teenagers making beer, teenagers doing this. Was there at any point any pushback from anybody on that?
No, I don't think so on that. There were other things that we cut from the movie.
Yeah.
There were other things that we cut from the script
Mhm.
because there could only be so much. But I think when I watch it back now, I'm just like, I mean, there was so much more going on. It was pushing things more. I feel like it's relatively, it's good-natured and fun, but like
Compared to your real life, you mean?
yeah, I mean,
hell
I mean, shit was crazy. Yeah, but
Awesome.
I think that it shows the hustle. It shows like that sort of ingenuity. It shows like, everyone's fucking sitting on a screen now. So
Yeah.
it's just a different time when we were free range. We were just running feral, and The
Yeah.
parents had no idea where we were. It was a relatively safe community to be in, but they kind of just, everybody, we were all latchkey kids that were just running around in packs doing stuff. So I to capture that before I got too far away, I started to feel, once I had kids, I have 3 boys, and once I started to feel, the tether starting to disappear from, maybe like it started with like maybe forgetting somebody's name from high school or that, like as you age, because my focus is on my kids now. So I didn't want that tether to just disintegrate too much. So it was like time in the pandemic was like perfect for kind of bringing up some of those feelings about the past, and it was like the right time to write it for me. I think like 30 years, the comp in my mind was when I was a kid watching movies that were about the 50s, like something like Stand By Me, where you were like, oh man, they had cool muscle cars, and everybody had shirts with cigarettes rolled up in them, and oh, these fucking kids smoked, and like they cursed and smoked, and they went, it was doing something similar like that within a 30-year window. I think 30 years is the right amount of time to like look back, because you've had losses in your life, most likely at that point. You can understand things better. It's like I'm the dad. I'm Richard Dreyfuss, writing the thing at the end of Stand By Me. So it's the same, amount of time that had passed.
But it's also not gratuitous. Like, it's accurate to what being a teenager is. Like, you rebel and you hang out with your friends. If anything, it's pretty restrained for, a lot of shit a lot of people have experienced. And it's not for shock factor. It's that you can watch it and just feel that it's authentic to someone's honest experience growing up, and everybody else watching it. Kids are, they act like anybody else would,
Yeah, the hustling element of it is very like wish fulfillment. Like while I'm watching it, I'm like, I just like set up a lemonade stand, but that's cool what you did. All that.
We made alcohol and sold it, to our peers.
For you guys, in terms of the hustle, like growing up, did you guys have any side hustles that you could pull from to kind of get in the snack shack mode?
Yeah. I got I got lucky. My neighborhood was we had a lot of kids in our neighborhood and very suburban. And my parents were granola, so I didn't have a phone for a longest of all my friends. But yeah, I would sell everything. I did the lemonade stands. So many things to all the neighbors. Car washes, the I had business cards for every single fucking company I had printed out and cut up. But
it doesn't change. It's evergreen. It's something you were talking about. And by the way, I think you're ahead on the 90s curve, because I think 80s was so hot for so long, and now people are going to start, like you said, 30 years is a great amount of time to kind of go retro with it. Another question? Yes, front row, thank God.
Hi, I'm Days. I'm curious about how you emotionally prepared yourself and even the crew for the more intimate personal scenes, and like what that energy was like on set.
I can tell you this: when we shot the scene where Brooke and AJ pull up to the pool after Shane has died, I was a wreck. And I remember there was an EPK guy, somebody shooting behind the scenes stuff. I remember I was walking up to where the camera was, and he pointed the camera at me, and I was like, go, no. And I remember I just was like, we did the funeral scene, and that was really, really, really hard for me. My friend's mom was actually there. She was in the scene. It was, I was crying back there when I watched it tonight. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to see it, and but also I'm happy that I did it, and I'm happy that I had I'm just happy that I did it. It was that part was the hardest part for me on set. It was really hard. It was like 2.5 days where we were doing scene work like that, and I did not feel like my normal self. So luckily, I think everybody recognized that, and it was very quiet during all of the scene work that we did that was around that, whether it was on the street with AJ running, or in the church, or just the scene with David. And that was David's a tremendous actor, and that was a very powerful thing to watch. But it also like was a flashback for me, so it was very triggering.
Yeah,
we had a really great we had a really great crew too, really tight crew, not a lot of people, and everyone was just all in on this film, and so the energy of the scene, of the material, was the energy of the crew. If it was really fun, everyone's laughing and getting along, and it's a very intuitive process. Nobody has to say like, all right, like get up, have high energy. Like you're either goofing around, or if you feel like you need to take some space and go off in a corner and pace for 15 minutes, go do that. And everyone's gonna leave you alone, and nobody's gonna like bother you. And then if you just want to jam and shoot the shit and laugh and fart, then everyone's gonna do that too. So everyone, it was a really conducive environment for them, like just the most positive creative outcome that you could hope for on set.
The town really helped. I mean, by the time we were shooting those scenes, it all really happened here. Like everybody in that town remembers the funeral of a young man that died. Every single person from every age. Like it was a town-wide thing. So I think we'd also at that point, we'd met the town. It just kind of felt, without sounding corny, but it really felt like the whole like ground that we were on was like with us and in rhythm, and like cicadas would play and moments that it was written in the script, and it would be loud, and yeah, it was very much so that, and it got more and more personal. I think the more we all fell in love with the town, the way that obviously Adam has love for it.
Yeah, it really does. It really didn't feel like shooting a movie and even watching it. Yeah, I feel like we said, it doesn't feel like we're watching a movie. It feels like we're watching a snapshot of something that happened. Yeah. And so yeah, in that sense, things just kind of flowed very naturally.
Did y'all shoot it in sequence?
No,
Okay.
we didn't shoot
I
it in
was
sequence.
like, oh, wow.
But, you know, I wanted to say, though, I have a really tremendous crew that I've worked with now. This is our, like, for a lot of the heads of departments, it's our third film this would have been the second one. Now, we've done 3. I actually picked locked yesterday, my new film, Carolina.
Hell
Carolina.
yes.
So, we've got another one coming sometime this year.
Carolina. It is Adam's best movie, though. We saw
Oh,
it. It's
geez.
fucking really good.
Here we go.
See it in a theater.
But you know, the crew for this that I work with, they're people that I really genuinely love, and I love the energy of when we, you know, I feel like we're growing together as artists too. So that's exciting to work with people that, you know, you just keep growing with, and you become a family, and that's the best part about what's possible, you know, in the craft is finding people that you love to work with and then continuing to work with them.
And the fact that they're still wanting to work with you says a lot about you. So, yes.
Oh, hi, Chompy. I didn't see you sitting there. Jeez. Right there. He's waving back.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Hey.
So,
Thanks for having us.
Right on. We're happy to have you. Besides, like the perfectly immersive and teleporting music of the era, takes you right back there. I really like the scores that I've heard of Keegan DeWitt, and it always makes the things extra special. How did you wind up connected with Keegan doing the score?
Through one of the producers and also my editor, Justin. We thought Keegan would be interesting for it, and met with Keegan, and it was just a really, you know, it was a collaboration that you know, when you're doing this, it's just a lot of trial and error with everything. So we had ideas like regarding the drums, and Keegan went and got a drummer, and like, so all the stuff that the boys are like, you know, whenever they're moving, there's these big beats, these acoustic drums and stuff playing. So that was like some of the first stuff that kind of got turned in, and then really we worked all the way to the end of the movie. Like, I think probably for me, I think of the score, I think I love when Brooke and AJ are like having their moment kind of alone when she's picking the grass and stuff. It's just, it's so pretty, the stuff that he's doing with the guitars. And then also, I think my favorite thing is that tragic moment when AJ is running, though. I just love the score in there. I think Keegan did a really wonderful job. So yeah, it was a good collaboration, and you know, I think that the music is really pretty, and I'd love to hear it like standalone at some point, you know, with you know, like soundtrack / score combo or something, because I think there's some really, really pretty pieces in there.
Well, the war drums for the boys too is just so much fun. I mean,
Which one?
The drums for AJ
Oh
and
yeah,
Moose.
I mean, yeah. I love that.
Oh my god, and the piano, gorgeous.
Another question? Well, that was a great question, by the way, because your soundtracks are great, obviously, and then the score.
Spent a lot of time on it. So
Really?
it's a lot with my editor Justin too. He's a audiophile.
Rad. One more. All right, here we go.
If you were stranded on an island and you can only bring 3 things, what would you bring?
I bring these 3 right here, so we have a party.
Whoa. You can say 3 films too if you want, since we're in an art house cinema.
Well, I like these questions and I also hate them, because, like, what would you actually bring?
I think I might bring a gun.
No,
I'm bringing a fillet knife, like number 1 for cleaning fish.
First off, what kind of island is this? A desert? Is it a tropical
Hawaii?
island? Is it an Arctic island? Is it in the
Bathing
Pacific
suit.
Northwest? Is it Vancouver Island? What are
Okay,
we
he's
talking?
losing it. Get her out of here. Get her out of here.
No, is this like the Caribbean? Is this like a pirate hut? Like, what do we need?
Be more specific.
Tropical island, so like classic Looney Tunes, like coconuts and shit.
This is the last question, by the way, so so really think about it.
A blanket.
I think a hatchet and a flint.
Why would you bring a hatchet when there are so many more evolved tools you could bring? A hatchet?
What would you rather bring, Connor?
Like a multi-tool?
Yeah, no, you have like a Swiss
That is
Army
the most
knife. How are you-
AJ answer of all time. A multi-tool.
I don't
I
give a
bring
shit
my
if you were a
multi-tool.
Boy Scout. If you have a multi-tool, how are you going to chop down trees and make shelter?
Jesus.
And
the
gut and,
multi-tool.
and skin your animals when you have to. Oh, you're vegetarian.
He just dies.
A hatchet, a flint. God
And a
damn.
loincloth.
A third thing, man. For comfort?
We're getting a window into what it was probably like shooting Snack Shack right now, so thank you for this question. Brilliant stuff.
We're really milking the last question here.
A multi-tool. A multi-tool.
A multi-tool.
Did anyone pick that?
It's a perfect
Binoculars, a multi-tool,
Um,
slipper slide.
probably. God, probably like.
All right, next question.
Bobby, can we cut?
I'm gonna come back to it.
Bobby,
I'm
can
gonna
we cut the
come back to
lights?
Hold on.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. So one more about the movie, please.
No questions where multi-tool could be the answer or response.
Thank you.
A tarp, a shelter.
Good answer.
Thank you very much. I've seen a lot of Alone.
Have you guys thought about where your characters eventually end up? I mean, I know, like, beyond the movie, not like in a sequel sense, but have you guys just thought about or ruminated on that a little?
I'm
Do you want to take
staring at him
Brooke,
right
or do
now.
you want me to take my take on Brooke? You take Brooke, and then I'll take my take on Brooke.
My take on Brooke is that she just goes around Europe like this, same way, and meets people for like 20, 30 years, and then eventually just lands in Portugal and stays there for the rest of her life.
Fuck.
I think
AJ.
She found God on the El
in,
Camino.
in my mind, AJ and Brooke correspond for like pretty heavy for 3 or 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and then it drops off. It goes from like once a week to like once every 2, and then once a month, and then once in a while, and then it just dissipates into nothing. But there's something special about, I think everybody has those building block kind of proto relationships to where you are now, with whether it's with a spouse, whatever. Like, this is like building block stuff. So I see the importance in some of those from my own past, and how they get you where you are now, the way you treat your significant other now. Like, this is like proto stuff. So, I mean, they're really. It's kind of a bromance for a lot of it, because it's that they're in the building block. They haven't had an experience yet, so they're dedicated to each other at where the film starts, and so they're learning those things. So I think I think in some ways, this film is to sort of honor those relationships that are like your earliest relationships with, someone else. So that's my 2 cents. That just sort of dissipates into nothing, but that's okay.
Have you thought about that thank you. Have you thought about age? Well, because our characters are based off of real people, so it's tough to like distinguish our ideas because we know what happens to them. Have you thought about this?
I think I've hoped that AJ and Brooke will, I don't know, like I hoped that, but no. Like I know it's not. I mean, I agree. It's such a universal experience. Like I think your firsts, like at some point everyone has their first something, or at that age, or the first time you like someone, or in that thing. And yeah, I think it's a pretty universal experience to not talk to your first crush and first thing. I mean, if you do, congrats, you're lucky.
I know that at the time, Moose believes with all of his heart that he will become a billionaire, and that this experience running the snack shack will be a 60-minute anecdote when they're like, what was it like growing up for Moose Miller? And he's like, well, I'll tell you, I've always been a businessman inspired by great films of our time, and so I don't think that really happens to him, though. I think he goes to college learning business, and I think he eventually does get into stocks, but I think he's pretty successful at it, but I think he falls in love and kind of slows down and has his own small business, and he's comfortable, and probably just hangs out and drinks a lot.
And loses everything with crypto,
Yeah. Eventually, he puts it all on like the Huac Tua coin and just.
Jesus Christ, he does. Yes.
Well, he's watching this girl and he's like, reminds me of my youth.
By the way, I had at the premiere in Nebraska City, we did a premiere there, and MIKA and CONOR were there, and after it was over, there was a long line of people, and I had probably 4 or 5 old girlfriends that came up and whispered in my ear, "Was I Brooke?" And I was like, "Yes, you were." Yes.
To all of them.
No,
Well-
it was crazy. Right before the screening, because I knew this whole time that Brooke was the only character that wasn't based on an actual person. She's an amalgamation of a bunch of those proto relationships. And I had so many people come up to me at the beginning, before the screening happened. All these women being like, "I hear that your character might be based on me," and I was like, "Yeah, I think
And
you're
then they
right."
just stare at each other.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that.
So many times.
What did it feel like?
I just felt sad for them.
Okay. It's a movie filled with so many debaucherous montages, and you guys are incredible at that. But what will give it a long shelf life is the turn and the emotion and the way it ends. I was talking with Bobby. I was like, the last 20 minutes of this movie are just devastating, and that's what sets it apart. And these 3 performances and the script. So incredible work. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having
Thank you,
us.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna take about a 5-minute break, snacks, bathroom, whatever you want to do, and then we'll get into our second movie.
Dinner in America!
Yeah. One more time for these guys. Thank you so much.